it's now time to find our second semi-final matchup. It's going to be Manchester United, but they'll be versing one of these two clubs here. Arsenal versus AC Milan, whereas we saw it on matchday 7, the great escape. It's time to see if Milan can repeat the feat here in the knockout stages.
I love to see repeat. I love these. I love when we see reruns of games that we have very much enjoyed throughout the tournament, and none more so than what we saw on matchday 7 from these two teams. It'll be interesting to see whether we see a repeat of the results or whether we see something from Arsenal that just maybe goes, wait a minute, that was a bit of an anomaly. We've rebuilt, we've gone again, and we'll find ourselves in the semi-final. It's all about these two that you see on your screens right now. Franquinho on one side and Roxa on the other, and they'll be leading off their two teams.
Two players who have goal of the matchday awards. Franquinho as recently as matchday 7 when he took down the adversaries, then Arsenal, who they face again here today. Roxa won it back on match day 3. But the trophy of this quarterfinal, the reward, is a date in the semi-finals with Manchester United, and I believe Semra is with Kilsio in the mix zone. Semra, over to you.
I am indeed. Thank you very much for that. Talking about a date of destiny, obviously your turn is up later on in the day. It's been a month now that you've had time to prepare for what you have coming up later on. How's it been?
Yes, we train a lot this month for this moment, and of course we work. We watch the game of the two teams because we don't know which team will win. There are two amazing teams, so yes, it will be a great battle.
So does that mean that you have two different game plans in mind according to whichever opponent you might come up against? Or is it a case of, no, we're going to play our way, our style, and we'll have to have them adapt to us?
I think like we will adapt to the team we will face. They don't play the same gameplay, so they are different, so we will play different.
Now, I asked this earlier to Alex, as he was also in that position where he can look on and watch this first quarterfinal before his respective semi-final. Now you have the same opportunity here to watch on and see what happens. Do you have a particular preference, knowing how they play, and you talk about these different styles, as to who you would actually like to come up against?
I think we don't have a preference. We are ready to fight anybody, but I feel like Arsenal, we have a little revenge to take against them.
Okay, and just for a bit of fun, if you manage to make it into the final, it's going to be against either FC Bayern Munich or FC Barcelona. How could you see that one playing out?
It's very difficult to predict. The two teams are very, very good with amazing players. So yes, it's very impossible to predict.
Well, you look very relaxed, I have to say. You look very calm. Are you feeling nervous at all, or no, you're ready to go?
No, I think like we know what we have to do. So we know our plans. If it works, it works. If it don't work, it won't work. But there is no point to stress. Just play our game and do the best we can.
Okay. And what do you think have been some of the biggest strengths of your team and also you specifically as an individual?
I feel like we are very close to each other. We are all friends, so we work a lot together. We progress a lot together. I think like we start the season not very well, and then it will be always better and better and better. So I think we will. I hope we will finish good as we finish the regular season.
Well, you have a lot of fans out there who will be watching on right now and cheering you on. Any message you would like to say to them?
Yes, that the only message I can say is to all the Manchester fans that we will not let us down. We will do our best. We will fight for the club and for the team, and we will try to win this title.
You'll live up to the nickname of being a Red Devil, right? You'll be a very devilish in your performance for today. Then, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you later on in action. Guys, I think we're ready for game 1 of the second quarterfinal. So back over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Semra. Always getting us where we need to be. Great to hear from Kilsio as well. Sounding pretty relaxed for that second semi-final later on. We have the formality, Wes, of finding out which of these two clubs will find themselves in a date with Manchester United later on. First of all, Roxa versus Franquinho.
Yeah, it was great to hear from Kilsio. Of course, he's an incredibly confident young man and has as he said, United have grown into this competition as time has gone on. Their performances have got better. And it was interesting that he highlighted the score to settle with Arsenal. If you remember, cast your minds back, I believe it was 9 points that they got taken off them by Arsenal. It was a clean sweep, I believe. I'm happy to be corrected if my analyst buddy to my right will... I
think you're right about that on match day 3.
Yeah, so match day 3 it was. So it's interesting to hear that he thinks they've got a score to settle, but of course, Arsenal have their own score to settle here from match day 7. As we saw, as you labelled it, the great escape of AC Milan. They took all 9 points. And talking to AC Milan, talking to Arsenal, and looking at the behaviours as we see them walk through, I think AC Milan have got a bit of a jump on Arsenal here.
Yeah, most definitely. When you think about match day 7 and exactly how difficult that feat that AC Milan had to do in that third match, having seen Roma already snatch one of those 2 up for grab knockout stage places, having seen what they needed to get from the team they needed to get them against, you're thinking maybe 1-2% possibility, then they win game 1. Okay, maybe 10% possibility, they win game 2, whereas all of a sudden it just was all up in the air and they did exactly what they needed to do. The miracle from Milan, the Milanese miracle, was something to behold. The slate is clean though for the knockout stages, and Arsenal have a score to settle here. They do not like the fact Milan took all the praise and the fact they, well, don't find themselves already in a semi-final in this competition, because that was what they lost from that performance on match day 7. Time to find out if they can rectify it here. Game 1 underway.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Arsenal from left to right and AC Milan from right to left. Here's Trossard to Saka. Back to Trossard. Here's Ben White.
And near side, Ben White with that cross towards Jesus. And introducing our players, of course, Franquinho, introduced back on match day 6, a Coppa eFootball Italia winner and MVP. A draw back on match day 6 against Mestre, who we've already seen in the knockout stages be a fierce competitor, winning his knockout stage game 5-1, and a 2-1 win against Indominator on match day 7, bagging the Goal of the Day award as well. Was quite the introduction to the league from Franquinho.
He's been a big shot in the arm for this AC Milan side, again, in terms of confidence, in terms of bringing some new ideas and bringing some new, energy to the side. He has been worth his weight in gold, especially from how he performed through the tail end of the season. And bearing in mind, I think it's only his 3rd match day in total. So he came in at the right time and just managed to get them across the line.
Well, his opponent is a difficult customer to take down as well. 5 wins out of 7 match days from Roxa. Plenty of goals to speak of as well. Likes to shoot from distance, so watch out for that. As soon as a sight of goal appears for Roxa, he will take it. And 10 minutes gone. It's been fairly end-to-end as Leal now on the near side. He'll be a difficult player to deal with for any teams that may come up against him today. Origi on the turn towards Leal. Is this the first goal? Ben White with some interesting defending. The referee saw nothing wrong with it, Wes, but it was just enough to put off the Milan striker.
I think Roxa's pretty lucky there that Origi stayed on his feet, because otherwise that is a stonewall penalty waiting to happen.
Saka just shielding the ball. And when you look at the form, of course, Franquinho undefeated in this competition, only played, as you said, 2 match days, this being his 3rd. Leal wins the header in the box. But Roxa, 15 points for Arsenal this season. He's been some contributor. Trossard, Jesus arriving, and just doesn't connect properly with that header. First proper chance for either club here in this quarter-final.
As much as Franquinho didn't commit with Tomori to go and mark the header, Jesus didn't fully commit to the header to put it on goal. There'll be an alarm bell there for Franquinho to worry about there, though. Here's Origi to lay out to Catalare.
Oh, Origi in the box with some nice footwork as well. Finally gets his shot on goal. Benacer to the feet of Origi, and this is really nice build-up. Leao trying to knock it past Ben White. Smith Rowe to Jesus. Looking for Ødegaard. Trossard with the strike! And Arsenal strike first. It's Roxa with Trossard to put the North London club in the driver's seat now of game one.
Needed that one. Needed it just to reset the composure and the emotion in the game. In the fact that we saw so many opportunities going down that end of the field towards AC Milan. It's great to see that Arsenal, as we said, it's moments that count in knockout football. You have to take your chances when they're there. And Roxa is as good as they come when it comes to taking those opportunities.
He'll feel relieved, vindicated after that earlier Jesus chance that just didn't connect properly for him. But it is Roxa who strikes first. His 17th goal of the season, including the regular season. No doubt he'll be looking for more. Jesus far side has Kalulu for company. And that's some good defending from Milan. Tonali across to Leao. Benacer just again dispossessed. Some good intercepting happening here from Arsenal. Jesus and Ødegaard look to try and combine while the chance waits to present itself. It's Smith Rowe who is fouled on the edge of the area, so I wonder what will come of this one.
We've seen some trickery before from free kicks. This may be another one out of the set piece.
Trossard stepping up and straight into the wall. Kier for company, hits him in an unfortunate place, and Roxa thought about letting it run. Trossard with some good footwork here, just waiting for a Milan defender to commit. Ødegaard was waiting in support. Crossfield ball towards Saka. 10 to go until half-time. Roxa starting to advance now. Trossard with a strike from distance. Saka arriving, and oh, another missed connection. Sees it just hit the side netting, I think, and a let off for Milan.
Tried to take advantage of the goalkeeper being on the floor. Couldn't find the angle.
Origi now, as Franquinho looks to advance himself. De Ketelaere. Just will bounce back to Ramsdale, and something tells me Roxa will be happy with possession and potentially the final attack of the half, but instead AC have been gifted it here. White with some dogged defending puts it to the feet of Jesus. Kier is able to recover, and at first half Wes that was fairly open, plenty of action, but just the one goal to separate these two here. Arsenal 1, Milan 0.
And Milan only had one shot on goal in that entire half, so there is still time here for AC Milan to get back into it. But on the flip side of it, of course, there's enough opportunity and time for Roxa to build on this lead.
If you're just joining us, this is game 1 of a best-of-3 series between these two clubs. Win 2 and go through. Manchester United await in the semi-finals. For Franquinho, just feels like the ball hasn't really settled for him here in the knockout stages. Has been brilliant since Milan called him up on match day 6, but it's a completely different environment here in the knockout stages, especially against a seasoned veteran such as Roxa. Smith Rowe. Trossard with a heavy touch. Benacer almost invites him back onto it, but Milan can break now. Origi with a nice turn. Divock Origi, Rebic was there as well.
Stopped his own momentum there with Origi. Had the opportunity to take that on.
Might get a second chance here as Leao far side against Tomiyasu, and well, the Arsenal defence once more doing enough.
For this match was 71,898.
Such a fascinating affair here because it's end-to-end, but the ball staying in play the entire time. So plenty of clock has been ticked away. And I wonder whether or not we'll see some substitutes here. The hour mark has been and gone. And right on cue, Wes. Time to turn to the bench.
Yeah, I think this is the time. If you're going to have to make something happen off the bench here, especially if you are AC Milan, you're having to look to that bench, and you have players that you can call upon. It'd be interesting to see how they deploy them. Of course, on the Arsenal side of the fence as well, of course, you've got players to call on. I just saw the smiling avatar of Gabriel Martinelli that coming on for Arsenal.
Number 10 coming on the field.
He scored plenty in this competition.
Number 11
for the Gunners, Martinelli, so no surprise to see Roxa turn to him again. Jesus into the box, Trossard cued his strike up. Roxa firmly in that top 4. With some good company as well. Reigning champion as Maccabiel and MVP at Arito. The only 2 men above him in that regard. Headed down by Origi. And Leao takes his strike! And oh, that's improvised! And it doesn't matter how they come for Milan. They all count the same. It is that equaliser.
It's a phenomenal finish from Franquinho. Again, headed down. Leao is the benefactor. He, as we'll see back once more here, almost the certainly looked like some type of kung fu kick as it was in mid-air. We'll see it again here. Heads it down as simple as you like. It's half volley, beg your pardon. I was thinking more of his counterpart is Zlatan Ibrahimovic of kung fu kicks. Instead, that one was more so a half volley, and it's take a chance when you can get it. If it's there, have a go, and beats Ramsdale.
That's some finish, seeing it from that angle.
Yeah, it's a fantastic finish.
And we said Roxa likes to shoot on sight. Franquinho says, yeah, that sounds like a great plan. 1-1. That's livened this second half up. Well and truly. Roxa building with Jesus, waiting for the run of Trossard, but Kier steps in.
And cast a mind back to match day 7, how important Kier was to AC Milan's aspirations against Arsenal. He may be called upon here again.
It was a bit of a boogeyman for the North London club back on match day 7 when they shipped 9 points to Milan, and Origi's not giving this one up.
Just trying to read where Roxa was going with it. Instead, Tierney plays down the line, and Martinelli's beaten to the punch here.
Diaz inside, Origi, it's offside.
Just offside. A toenail by the look of things.
Well, we said, Wes, knockout stage football is a different beast. I just sense Franquinho settling into the occasion here.
Yeah, it certainly seems to have got his feet under him now and gone, okay, well, we've got an equaliser, we've got ourselves back into the game. Let's just breathe and let's take it nice and slow.
Martin Odegaard.
And the thing is, if you can ride the wave of Arsenal's starting 11, I mean, they are a potent threat all around the field, but if you can ride the wave and maybe put the momentum back onto them, it's the type of result you might be able to garner.
Bakayoko smartly heading back, and we're approaching 10 minutes to go in this second half. All level. A reminder, we need a winner for each of the games you see here today. That means extra time and penalties.
Great footwork from Leao.
Twisting and turning, double touch. Ben White finally called into action, and Origi gave chase to it, and almost instant reward. Roxa with the smile on his face. All he could do was smile.
Could have gone anywhere. That's where that smile means.
Vieira now, feet of Jesus and Martinelli near side, fresh on the pitch, so potentially could make a run. Saka up for it as well. Fair play, both of our players fancy themselves in the final five.
Five minutes left. The mood is tense.
Origi down to Leao, Ben White. Useful back there in the Arsenal defence today.
Roxa learnt his lesson from the last set piece. He actually got into Franquinho that time. Ball will be cleared away by Kalulu.
Oh, it's ebbed and it's flowed this game one. We're in the 90th now. Surely a goal here would be the winner. Brahim Diaz with a heavy touch. Very added on by the referee's assistant. Gabriel Martinelli. Just waiting for a runner. Trossard's the man. Towards Vieira. This one's cleared, and I don't think there'll be enough time, will there, for a Milan attack? There will not. So we are headed to extra time here in game one of quarter-final 2. Arsenal 1, Milan 1. And a penny for your thoughts there, Franquinho, because he had to dig deep to get that equaliser.
He did indeed, and again, it was the only real chance that was there for the second half. I mean, I'm casting my mind back trying to remember where another chance came from AC Milan that went anywhere close to goal. That was the only chance. So again, we're talking about these fine margins and we're talking about executing under pressure. That second half of Arsenal versus AC Milan is that almost in a microcosm. You can see exactly the effect that we're talking about. When you have those opportunities, you have those moments, you have to take them. And Franquinho took his and then proceeded to lock out Arsenal, because on the flip side, Arsenal didn't really have a lot of chances in that second half either. So I think looking at the balances on this and looking at how we've seen these games so far, it's almost as though everyone's a little bit nervous because it's knockout football now. It's no longer the safety net of, well, we've got another match day where we can maybe work out the kinks and iron it out, and well, we've got a point out of this will be fine. In a regular season, this is a point, everyone goes home happy and everyone's fine. Reality is you're in a knockout situation. It is totally different. There has to be a winner. So I think looking at this here, the pressure starting to tell just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very similar case as we saw in quarter-final 1. We're underway here now in extra time. I'll come back to that point as Milan look to try and turn the screw. Brahim Diaz, lovely footwork to find its way to Origi. As we saw in quarter-final 1, Irma just kept to that one goal, had scored so many throughout the season. Dare I say, Roxa finding himself in a very similar position. Top 3 goal scorer held to just a single goal so far. If you're an AC fan, that's just what the doctor ordered.
And as we saw from the first matchup we saw between Bayern and Roma, this extra time period goes very, very quickly.
And it does, just 5 in-game minutes remain in the first period. I think it was Leao giving chase to that on the near side, just off screen. Divock Origi. Just crowded out in that midfield. Krunic to Giroud. Back to him, Giroud! It's the former gunner who strikes the heart of the Arsenal defence. And at the end of the first period of extra time, Wes, Milan, they're in the driver's seat now. What a comeback, 2-1.
The most handsome man in football strikes a dagger into the heart of Arsenal. It's great footwork and it's great build-up play here from Frankie. You will see it again here. It's neat. It's first-time passes, a first-time 1-2. Giroud sweeps that home. And it is advantage AC Milan in extra time.
Oh.
Brilliant finish from the Frenchman.
The finish is wonderful, but the assist, just something absolutely magical there. You can see the frustration from Roxa. He knows he now has a job on his hands to at least force penalties. Trossard crowded out again, and with no minutes added on, the referee has seen enough.
I'd like to draw your attention to the
One final period of extra time to decide what happens here in our game 1.
That is a killer of a goal. That is. It really is. Because we've said, in terms of how quickly extra time goes, in terms of that first and second period, they go so quickly that you're going to have maybe 1, maybe 2 chances at most in extra time. So if you're Roxa, you're going to have to get a chance very quickly and then convert it. It's not even necessarily just waiting and getting an opportunity. You've got to then go and convert it.
Of course, with the first interval of extra time comes with it the opportunity to swap things up, and it's the point you made earlier, Wes. It's no longer the regular season, so you have no goal difference, no goals scored, nothing like that to worry about. You have to go for it here if you're Roxa. And on the inverse, Wes, set up shop if you're Milan.
Yeah, it's the safety net. The safety net's gone. There is to coin the phrase, there is no tomorrow. You have today and today only. There is no we'll come back tomorrow and we'll have a run at it on Sunday. This is it. This is all or nothing now.
And you don't have to be a body language expert to see the frustration on the Arsenal side of the stage. 15 in-game minutes for an Arsenal equaliser. Otherwise, it will be advantage Milan in quarter-final number 1. Martinelli back to Jorginho, and well, he's carried on his run. The 1-2 is nice, but Manyan's hands very strong at the back, and for Milan, take as much time off of that clock as you can. In-game minutes remain. Raheem Diaz far side. Again, maintaining possession, frustrating the Arsenal back line, and that's a corner. Yet more time ticked off of that clock.
The longer it stays in the field, the quicker that clock will tick. Every time it goes dead, as you'll notice in the top left-hand corner, it still ticks over, but not nearly as high the rate.
Ramsdale palms that one in, and the audible frustration from Roxa. Because again, it's more minutes ticked off, it's more seconds ticked off while the ball is at the wrong end of the pitch for Arsenal's hope here in game one.
I think he was certainly hoping that his goalkeeper would take that into both hands. He could maybe launch a counter-attack, and instead punches it back out for another corner. And again, if you're AC Milan, you're just wanting to just kill the clock. You know, we see it in real football all of the time in terms of teams that will go and play in the corner, they'll play disruptive football, they'll create tactical fouls, they'll do everything that they possibly can to disrupt their opponent in the hope that they actually come away with the result.
All Ostrubuc and then Dominator can do is watch on. Corner swung in, Tierney away. Still time. Knox has scored plenty this season. Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka to Jesus. Has he stayed on? Oh, no, he hasn't. Wouldn't have counted anyway. Just offside there. Manyan was equal to it, but it's as good a chance as any. Long ball to Origi. 5 in-game minutes, less than now. It's go time for Roxa. Vieira, no pressure on him, giving green grass to run into.
He's looking for movement, and he's found one in Jesus.
Oh, just whips it back to Trossard there, did Jesus. In the 120th minute now.
It's now or never.
Jorginho.
There will be 1 minute added time.
Just dispossessed. And it looks like this could be a big step towards the semi-finals for AC Milan. They win game one and now find themselves on match point against the team that helped them get to this position, whereas on match day 7, Franquinho. What a performance.
It's great. It's a great performance from Franquinho. Again, proving, again, being a real kind of cornerstone now of this AC Milan side. Again, to beat an experienced operator in Roxa, you've got to go some to be able to do it. And he has done it there at the perfect time.
Very visible frustration there from Roxa, of course, used to winning games, scoring goals, but his opponent there, Franquinho, had the perfect game plan to just frustrate his opponent.
Started off so well.
Just didn't let Roxa get into his rhythm. As you said, started off perfectly within the opening half hour. Trossard tucks it home. You're thinking, yeah, you know, Roxa's built for this type of occasion. But Franquinho settled into that game one really well. And it's job done for him.
Yeah, and it was that improvised finish, as we'll see here again. Half volley, on the turn, controlled strike. Brilliantly found into the corner of the net from Rafael Leao. And that really set the tempo, because then it then started to just, as you said, Franquinho started to settle in. It started to become AC Milan's game. It started to just kind of inch their way in slowly but surely. Got into extra time, brilliant passing move, and of course it's Olivier Giroud. We, you know, as you know as well, you know, from my speaking to you, my soft spot for Olivier Giroud in this game, in terms of the physicality aspect, is always somebody you can employ. And certainly from there, had enough space, had enough finishing in there, and managed to find the back of the net, much to Roxa's frustration.
Thought about dashing the controller, but in the end thought better of it.
Yeah.
Don't blame you, Roxa. That is an expensive piece of equipment. Tell you what else is expensive, that trophy there. That's what all of our clubs here, our 5 remaining clubs, are vying for. We said goodbye to AS Roma in match number 1. They fell to Bayern 2-0. And now Wes, looking up on our stage, looks like captain versus captain. In Dominator for Arsenal has stepped up in game 2. And it's Naples for AC. This is an intriguing affair because we've seen Naples again with a bit of spotty form throughout the season. But in Dominator, seems to either win by a landslide or have very, very close games. There's no in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we talk about experience in critical moments and in clutch moments. you have to cast your mind back to Euros 2020 with Naples and with Italy in terms of having that composure to pull out a last-minute winner for his country. You would think he'd be hoping to try to do the same here for his club. Of course, on the opposite side of the fence, you have Dominator, who, as we've all said, seasoned veteran of the game, has the ability in the Arsenal part of the punt to do damage. It's just a case of who's going to come out on top here.
Game 2 then, in Dominator versus Naples. Experience on both sides, but it's in Dominator looking to strike first here. Martinelli, Calabria with the recovery tackle, and as you said, Dominator been here, done that, has captained his country, captained teams previous in this competition, has found himself in the knockout stages time and time again. He's going to have to pull something out of the bag here in Game 2 to give Arsenal a bit of a chance going into that Game 3. Otherwise, it will be yet again so close but so far for the Arsenal captain. This is good build-up though as Trossard. Can he sneak a strike off? He can't. As Tonali looks to recover here. Giroud for Naples. Rebic looking for Leao, and he's kept it alive here.
He snatched at it. Snatched at it.
Cross-come shot, if you will, and out for a throw-in the end. As you say, snatched at it.
Interesting to look at from Naples' point of view in terms of the squad selection. Giroud and Rebic employed from the start. So interesting to see that there's slight differences in how these teams line up. Brahim Diaz also in from the start as well. Of course, from the Arsenal side of things, Thomas Partey in from the start. You can see there's just those slight differences between play styles. Trossard finds it to Jesus.
In Dominator on the board. And in control of Game 2 now. 15 gone. In the battle of the captains. It's the Gunners striking first. And that is medicine after Game 1.
Even with the manual goalkeeping, sunk a little bit too long into his goal and didn't hold on to it for long enough. Had he held on long enough, he'd have made that save at the near post. Instead, it's Jesus almost on the goal line here. Inside 6 yards. It's a good finish from Dominator. Even he looks irritated by the fact that he scored. Still confuses me with these players after all the match days we've watched, that some of them will still be angry with the way that they've scored.
What can Naples do to return the favour? Goal scored by Dominator puts Arsenal in a great position, and Trossard has time to queue up a strike. Odegaard, Trossard, back to him now. Martin Odegaard. Kier in his way. Don't forget, it was Arsenal who scored first in that Game 1. Lovely improvisation there from Odegaard, but he was offside following the return to him. That's a bit of a harsh one,
to say the least. I'm taking the literal meaning of being able to score with a body part equals offside. I mean, I think somebody's forehead being offside but their leg's not. It's a very interesting call for the referee, but the rules are the rules.
Seeing Dominator there was within the top 10 regular league scorers, so it should be no surprise really seeing him open the scoring here. Of course, the only Milanese member in that top 10 is Sassinho. Naples all the way down in 14th, and of course Carito, who doesn't feature for Milan in the knockout stages, down there in 19th. What can Naples do though to try and bolster that tally? Brahim Diaz, Leao, Giroud. Won't get there before Tomiyasu does. Saka Saka to Martinelli. Trossard, Jesus, Trossard again, back to Jesus! Oh! How about that? Phenomenal! Metronomic from Jesus, metronomic from Indominator. That 2-goal cushion comes into place.
We almost hypnotised, it was so good. In terms of the one-touch passing, the change in direction rather than instead turns in field, instead goes towards Trossard, finds the space with Jesus, and that's where, inside 18 yards with a first-time strike, is where he likes to be. Great finish from Indominator, great goal all around from him.
Arsenal 2, AC Milan 0. And the worrying thing here for AC Milan fans and Naples up there on the sticks is the fact that, as we said, Indominator either has really close games or absolute blowouts. Naples looking for Giroud. And it might come all the way through to Jesus here, but Magnan well on top of that one. Half-time approaching in around about 5 or so in-game minutes. A goal before the half would do Naples' chance of coming back here in game 2 a world of good. Tonali, Giroud, Benacer, dispossessed unfairly, says the referee.
Free kick given in prime free kick territory. Just a case of what have you got in the locker here, Naples.
Brahim Diaz to Benacer, back heel to Giroud. Oh, he's offside anyway.
It's a good move.
Would not have counted, and it's another unfair one. I think just the armpit was offside there, but Ramsdale equal to it. Just a little warning sign for Arsenal. Party.
2 added minutes has been
Tackle
indicated.
will spring this Arsenal attack. Odegaard to Trossard. Can he get it under his spell? I think the control was not what Indominator intended there, so was forced into action. And with the 4th minute almost approaching of only 2 added on, the referee will blow the whistle here in our game 2. Indominators Arsenal 2. Naples is Milan 0 at the half.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer. A good response from Arsenal. It's what they needed at the right time. Indominators come in, got itself a 2-goal lead, and has calmed the place down a little bit from an Arsenal perspective. And that's what has been required. Again, if you cast your mind forward to a potential 3rd game here, well, the process of elimination, where we would see Ostrievich versus Cecinio, and that would prove to be a very intriguing tie. Again, if it does go to a game 3, you've got to think that the major benefactors of that are Manchester United.
Well, of course, we're underway now in the second half of game 2. Arsenal 2, Milan 0. You're right in saying that as well. Rebic and Giroud.
Oh,
it's snuck in!
It's snuck in!
Off the palm of Ramsdale. It just had enough power to trickle in. And Giroud gets one back for Milan. Second half well and truly on now. 2-1.
Too hot to handle it was for Olivier Giroud. We both thought that Ramsdale had done enough there. And then we heard the unmistakable noise of a clink off a post. And it ends up in the back of the net. It's a stunning strike to set up here. Again, first time stunning strike. Ramsdale does get a hand to it. And cannot keep it out. And that is very much a lifeline there for AC Milan, for Naples.
If there's ever an advertisement to stunning strikes, it's right there, because Ramsdale, without that purple power bar, probably palms that one around the post. Try saying that 5 times fast. But Milan are feeling confident after the half-time team talk.
The tails are certainly up, and they've slightly changed their shape as well. They've pushed a couple of players a little bit further forward, and they're trying to mitigate some of that Arsenal attacking flair that they have.
Martinelli. Jesus is again offside. Dominator upset with himself, but not the first one that's been very unfair. We'll say happening for both teams, but we'd like to see the linesman play on a little bit here.
I was going to say, back in my day, it was daylight that was the difference maker.
Tomori's his intervention there. It's given Trossard the opportunity to move forward. Jesus, can he find his teammate Gabriel Martinelli? He was ready and waiting, but now it's defending for Indomitor. Rebic has maybe had a little bit more time to set himself there. It's the nerves of the knockout stages. You often see those unforced errors creep in. Tomori inside to Brahim Diaz. Benacer breaks the lines through to Leao, and he takes a strike from quite a distance. And this one will roll out for a corner.
Just give for that knock-on controlled strike that it's as good as, if not better, than a stunning strike. It's caused plenty of players problems over the course of this competition. And it's going for a corner.
Of course, that Leao player item is so coveted by this Milan side. Diaz's corner.
Got to beat the first man.
Tonali towards Giroud, and it will bounce towards Diaz here. And Rebic! Oh, it's the equaliser! Just like that, we are all equal here. Arsenal 2, Milan 2.
I've got to say, there's some big slices of luck in this goal. You can see the grimaces on the face of Arsenal, but as we see this back on replay, ball gets lit here, and I'll show you the little pieces of luck that are here. Wins the ball back. It's just a ricochet right into the path of, I think it was Brahim Diaz. Squared it into Ante Rebic. He swiped it home for 2-2. And again, AC Milan won't care how it got there. It's the fact that it got there is the key stat for them, and they are now level.
Well, it is Arsenal 2, Milan 2. How is your mentality here in Dominator? Martinelli offside once more. That one is a bit clearer than the ones previous, but when you consider Milan on match day 7 winning 9 points out of 9 against Arsenal, here in the knockout stages they rematch, they win game 1 after trailing, do Milan. We're 2-0 down in game 2, back to 2-2. At what point, if you're Arsenal, do you just say, we need to get rid of these guys now, because they are a thorn in our side, they are prickly customers?
I think now, you have to do it now, because if you don't get rid of them now, you're going home instead of them. So you have to find a way, regardless of how you find it. As like we said, it's not really the journey, it's the destination. You need to get there. It doesn't matter how you get there, just get there.
Coming on to replace him is number 10.
Substitutions taking place.
Arsenal players will be wondering if Milan just have their number. They're coming forward now, though. Saka. I think that one was intended for Smith Rowe, but instead was cued towards Jesus. And Milan are in the ascendancy here in this second half. Grey shirts pouring forward. De Ketelaere. Florenzi is on now, over on that far side. Trossard, good time on his turn. Jorginho in the box, looking for Jesus, snatched away from him. Giroud with the knockdown. Tierney with some crucial interceptions.
Good read there from AC Milan. They've won it high upfield here.
They have De Ketelaere. He's got Leao on the far side. Back to Giroud with the header, and just thought it might loop over Ramsdale. Arsenal building now. Jesus almost turning in the final third. It's anyone's game here in the final 15. Jesus with a very heavy touch, and Tomori, the benefactor.
A bit of an improvised pass there. It's worked out very well for AC Milan.
How do you like it? Florenzi just crowded out at the vital moment. End-to-end stuff. Trossard. Tonali. De Ketelaere. Giroud has broken the lines. De Ketelaere back to Giroud. Florenzi, and Rafael Leao is dispossessed before he can pull that final trigger. Here's the scorer's chart. But if it's me, I wouldn't take a single eye off of this ball. Final 5 in game. Leao. Rebic, Giroud. Partey back defending. Bounces over Trossard, misreads it there. Giroud. Now Milan are scampering back. This counter looks promising from Arsenal, but again it'll come back at them. We'll go to extra time and penalties if we can't split these two clubs in 90 or 120. Martinelli. Smith Rowe. Pickpocketed by the Milanese defence. Saka to bring it forward. We're in the fourth almost of 3 added on. Final attack of this second half. Jesus, Smith Rowe dispossessed. And we're headed to extra time, Wes. That second half. Oh my, that was something.
You have to take a breath, almost. You have to remember to breathe. Such is the drama that is going with this game at the moment. Again, if you're a dominator, you're looking at it, and you were 2-0 up at half-time. All of a sudden, AC Milan came flying out the gates in second half. And you're now staring at extra time. What has to be going through his head right now?
Well, the battle of the captains has not let us down here. In Dominator and Naples, providing a prime example of why players relish the opportunity of playing in knockout stage football. It's the opportunity to put your best foot forward like Dominator did in that first half. It's the opportunity to dig deep like Naples did in that second. And now we have extra time and maybe even penalties to see which of these two men will be the victor. And I couldn't call it at this point.
There's nothing quite like knockout esports in any genre of video game, and especially when it goes into what is akin to sudden death, really. You know, if this was any other game, these are the sudden death rounds within, obviously, the eFootball ecosphere. It's extra time and it's penalties. And yeah, it is too close to call. Such was the ferocity that both teams were attacking in that final stage of the regulation time. It's too close to call.
Number 34.
Here we go, extra time.
Number 21.
2 15-minute periods in game
Substitution.
to see if we can find ourselves a difference maker. Of course, if Milan come out on top, one way or another, they'll be advancing to the semi-finals. De Ketelaere here to Leao. He sneaks his strike in and it's flashed past the post. I thought that was the one.
It's those chances we talked about. It's those moments in games. And if you can take hold of them, it'll be brilliant. But you could see there as well in the replay. Leao slips as he takes that strike. And sometimes you see them go in. On this occasion, just drifts past the post.
Substitution for Arsenal. Number 5. Coming on the field is number 89.
Here comes another Milan attack on that far side. Xhaka's on the pitch now for Arsenal as well. Simon Kier. Giroud with the header. Leao's footwork is always slippery in these positions, but good dispossession there by Dominator. 5 minutes to go in this first period. Trossard. Jesus in the box, trying to turn Kier. Can he do so? It's just wide.
Couldn't dig it out from underneath his feet. Didn't get the purchase on it that he wanted.
Tierney with the long ball. Looking like the final attack of this first period here. Trossard stuck it in an area and Magnan will gather, and gratefully so for the Milanese contingent on the stage. That's our first period done and dusted. Arsenal 2, Milan 2. 15 more in-game minutes to see if we can separate these two.
Yeah, both teams are going for it as well. One is playing 3-6-1, the other is playing 3-4-3. It just goes to show you both teams wanting to take that final goal. Now hopefully either extend the tie out to a game 3, or we'll see AC Milan go through to the semi-finals.
Second period underway. It's balanced on a knife edge here. And this is only game 2. If Arsenal win, we go to game 3 in this best of 3. If Milan win, they will advance. Trossard versus Tomori. He skips past him here. Jesus is waiting, but Milan survive again. Trossard can't keep that one in. It's broken quite nicely to Giroud, but the layoff not quite there. Giroud. De Ketelaere, bit of time and space, and here is Florenzi looking for the run of De Ketelaere again.
Could have shot, flash run across goal. Give us something else to look at, because it's all well and good trying to find the space. But
oh, here comes Jesus. Has he stayed on side? No, hasn't quite. And Roxa can't believe it behind in Dominator. And it's another tough one to swallow. Smith Rowe, final 5 in game. He's running with it here.
Great defender from Kaya.
It's not the first time we've said that across the last 2 match days. Tomiyasu, Dominator trying to build something, but here's Tonali now. We're in the final throes of this second period of extra time. Giroud with the knockdown. Final attack of extra time. Florenzi, corner to Milan.
This is gut check time. This is now. Surely it's the last chance here.
It's Tonali who stands over it. It'll be an outswinger. Kiers up and Tomiyasu away. We are headed to our first penalty shootout of the 2023 knockout stages. Arsenal and Milan cannot be separated here in game 2. So we're headed to spot kicks.
Now, if you are siblings at home, you know exactly what happens next. Both players were hiding controllers. We are turning backs on one another, and we are not letting anybody.
Stages. Arsenal and Milan cannot be separated here in game 2. So we're headed to spot kicks.
Now, if you are siblings at home, you know exactly what happens next. Both players were hiding controllers. We are turning backs on one another, and we are not letting anybody see what is going on controllers. Because that is the level that we're at right now. It is as rudimental, as fundamental as that. And he's hide your controller and hope for the best.
Yeah, just off camera you can see, I think that's the idea from Cezinho. I think he's just shielding the sight. Not that Dominator or any of the Arsenal men would go to that kind of level, but it's just that added extra level of security to say, you know what, I can go where I want without anyone apart from my team knowing. But it's a different type of mentality you need to hold your head high in a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And there's no 2 players you would want more in this situation than your club captains in Dominator and Naples.
And if you looked at the stats there quickly, the advantage in terms of proficiency at penalties actually is with the AC Milan players here. So we'll see what happens. It's Trossard versus Maignan.
Here we go then. First spot kick of the shootout. It's Trossard, and it's 1-0.
Good penalty into the corner of the net.
Good power on it as well.
Krunic steps up against Ramsdale.
Now it's Naples' turn to go up against Dominator, and it's into the roof of the net. That is a powerful strike. To keep us even in the shootout. Up next, in Dominator, tucks it home. Puts all the pressure back onto Naples. It's the former Arsenal man, Olivier Giroud, who will take the next spot kick.
Great finish
and
from
scores
Giroud.
it.
Great finish.
Next up, Gabriel Jesus. With the slow run up here against Maignan, and it's sent him the wrong way.
Small move from Maignan just before that ball's kicked, just to maybe give a bit of an idea as to where they think it was going, but swept away by Jesus.
3-2 in the shootout. Milan's third here to come with De Ketelaere. Very cool.
They're getting closer and closer to each goalkeeper here. It's Granit Xhaka.
Edging towards the final penalties of the first 5 before we head into sudden death territory. This one arguably the most important as Xhaka.
Cool as you like.
Cool as you like. Advantage Arsenal for now. The pressure swings back like a pendulum. Rafael Leao. tucks it home as well.
You can see that both goalkeepers, or at least both players, leaving it to the very last moment to try and dive. Of course, if penalties are taken at full power, it makes them incredibly hard to stop if you have to leave it that late.
4-4 in the shootout. Smith Rowe for Indominator. Oh, it's saved! The 5th Arsenal penalty is saved. So with this spot kick, AC Milan can book their ticket to the semi-finals. It's Rebic versus Ramsdale. He steps up, and Milan are through to the semi-finals. An incredible 2-0 performance. Sees them face off against Manchester United in semi-final 2. It took 10 spot kicks to separate them, but in the end, it is Milan who advance 2-0.
What a penalty shootout we saw there. It was all full power penalties right up until a save gets forced. And what a save it was.
And well, in the end, we had questions coming into today about whether or not Milan just might be Arsenal's kryptonite this season. And I think we've just found the answer, because after winning 0 points from 9 on matchday 7, the final matchday of the season, with a chance to finish top and even top 2, booking a semi-final slot, they were unable to do so. We thought maybe the script might be flipped a little bit here in knockout football, but Milan just have that resolve in the latter stage of the season. Both games they went behind, both games they come through as the victors. Semra, I mean, what can we say about AC Milan? They are just mentality monsters at this point.
And in both matches, both quarterfinals have been decided in the final kick of the game, in game 2. It's so refreshing in a way to see the newbies, the new boys, AC Milan, a brand new face in this competition, make it this far. And they showed their statement of intent on match day 1 all the way back in February, when they had a clean sweep of wins, didn't they? It was 9 points from 9. They really set up themselves for a lot of success, and here they are today, and they've done a brilliant job against Arsenal, who are one of the favourites, I think, to go the distance in this competition, and they've managed to eliminate them in 2 games. And again, it was a case of being relatively close, you have to say, this time out, more so than in the first quarterfinal, but definitely in game 2. It's the first time we've had penalties all day. It's the second game in which we've seen both teams go, at the very least, to extra time, but it adds a lot of spice and drama and nervousness, doesn't it? It has everyone on the edge of our seats, even for the neutrals watching. It really has been quite scintillating stuff then so far. And now we're moving right on into the semi-finals in a moment. But first, we do want to hear from the captain of AC Milan, Cecino, who is with Wes now. Wes, let's see what he has to say.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Cecino. Congratulations, AC Milan semi-finalists. Last time we spoke, of course, you said, oh, well, whatever happens from here, we've done our job. But that feels like a real statement victory.
After the last match day, we made a miracle, a sportive miracle. Now we don't want to stop. So let's approach the other matches with the same mindset. Calm down. It's a game. So this.
Yeah, you spoke about it there, about mentality. I mean, myself and Harold were looking on, to go into extra time, at least in the first game for Franquinho, his ability to just steal his mind, to just say, hey, we can get a goal in extra time. Of course, Naples, we know of his pedigree in competition. How good is it to see the mentality from those two?
Yeah, Franquinho plays against a top player like Roxa. The same Carmine against Jos. Franquinho was good to remain in the match in the 90 minutes, and in the extra time he killed his opponent. The same Carmine started with 2 goals of advantage, Jos, but he was good to change the formation, defense 3, and it went good.
Yeah, we saw it really turn the tide, and as a result, you guys have now got a bit of a prize, to say as at least. Manchester United in the semi-finals. Again, how do you feel that you're going to get through there? Do you think you guys can get to the final? Do you think you can win it all?
Now we don't have to think against who will play, because we made only 1 point against Manchester in the regular league. So we don't have fear of nobody. We are AC Milan. We demonstrate that we played good against all the team. Now mindset calm and go to the semi-final.
Fantastic. You look so relaxed because you didn't get to play. You feel so relaxed. No, fantastic work from AC Milan. Again, go and relax with your teammates. Go and enjoy what we're now going to see in the first semi-final. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thank you very much.